Hiring, how do you go about hiring and finding the right person for the job without going through 100 people?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be different for each person.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think my best skill is actually explaining exactly what I want and how I want it to get done. So for me, I hired people from the Philippines only with zero experience. Like everyone that I hired had no prior experience before. In my Amazon business. In my consulting business, I did it a bit differently. But in my Amazon business, I just knew kind of how I want to get things done, and I just taught them everything. Now, what happens is new things come around, like ManyChat, right? ManyChat came around, I think, like 2017 or something. And I wanted to obviously use that strategy with my employee who was doing social media at the time. And she was only doing like daily posts on Instagram and Facebook, and that was pretty much it. So what we did is I basically understood how to do one simple flow of ManyChat, taught her how to do it. And then she did a few flows with some Facebook ads, and we lost like $5,000 immediately without doing anything. So then I thought, how can I I want to work with her. I don't want to hire a freelancer to manage my ManyChat and not really know what's going on. So I hired an expert on Facebook ads that also knew ManyChat. Again, it was just at the very beginning of ManyChat. And that expert sat down with my employee for 10 hours. We paid $50 an hour, so we paid $500. And after those 10 hours, my employee was an expert in what we needed at the time for ManyChat sequences with Facebook ads.
Then she left and started her own ManyChat business.
No, so again, that's another thing with the Philippines. They don't really think like that. I think if you pay them full time, regardless of how much they work, they will stay with you forever. I didn't let anyone go since this new kind of structure. So, yeah.
Nice, nice. So you're actually hiring consultants or coaches for this just for specialized tasks like ManyChat.
Right, to train kind of my employees, basically. So this can either be to train my employees or just to outsource that completely, but I still very much want to know what's going on. Like if you right now use an agency for PPC, I highly recommend, or hopefully you are doing it already, you know exactly what they're doing in your account. Because if you don't and sales drop tomorrow or something happens and you want to let them go, you can't because you don't really know what they're doing, right?
Right.
So it's very important to have someone on your team. If you don't have anyone, it's you, that needs to know what they're doing to your account. Not because you are going to exchange them, like you're going to replace them tomorrow with internal team that runs it, but you have to know what's going on. This is your biggest expense after your cost of goods, right? So, yeah, you have to know what's going on, basically.
Yeah, and I guess if you take a look at the scheme of things, go.